Hello and welcome. Find a comfortable position and let your mind grow quiet. Tonight, we are not bound by time or duty. We are going on a slow journey, not to a place but to a time. We are going to spend a day from sunrise to sunset in the shoes of another. We will walk the furrowed fields and feel the cool earth of a medieval village. We will hear its sounds, not as noise, but as the rhythm of a life deeply tied to the land and the sky. There is no drama here, only the steady, quiet pulse of a peasant's day in the high Middle Ages, perhaps around the year 1200. So, close your eyes if you wish, and let the cares of today fade away. Let us step gently into the soft gray light of a dawn, 700 years ago. Before the sun even thinks of rising, the world is dark and still. Inside a small, one-room house made of wattle and daub, that's a weave of sticks plastered with mud and straw. The air is cool and smells of wood smoke and dried herbs. There are no clocks here. Time is kept by the body, by the cock's crow, by the faint light seeping through the single-shuttered window. Imagine you are waking on a rough mattress stuffed with straw, a simple woolen blanket over you. Your family shares this space, parents, children, perhaps an elderly grandparent. The last embers of the central hearth fire still glow orange in the darkness. This fire is the heart of the home. It is never truly allowed to die. There is no rush to jump out of bed. The body is stiff. The night's chill has settled in the bones. The day begins with a slow, quiet stirring. You hear the soft rustle of straw, a low cough, the sound of someone blowing on the embers, adding a few pieces of precious kindling. A small flame licks up, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. The light is faint, but it is life. It is warmth. In this soft, firelit silence, the day begins not with words, but with actions, with the simple, essential act of rekindling the hearth. Your family shares this space, parents, children, perhaps an elderly grandparent. As the sky outside turns from black to deep gray, the work of the home starts. There is no separate kitchen. All living happens around this central fire. The smoke curls up towards a hole in the thatched roof, but much of it stays, filling the room with a hazy, fragrant atmosphere. The first meal is simple. It is not called breakfast. It is just a piece of dark, coarse bread, rye or barley, perhaps dipped in a thin ale or softened in a pot of weak vegetable pottage left from yesterday. It is eaten quietly, standing or sitting on a low stool. There is no table as we know it. The focus is on the fire. A pot is hung over it, and water fetched from the village well earlier is warmed. Meanwhile, the animals must be seen to. If your family is fortunate, you might have a cow in a byre attached to the house, or a few chickens scratching in the yard. They are not just animals. They are wealth, they are warmth, they are tomorrow's food. They are tended to with a quiet, practiced routine. The cow is milked, and the chickens are scattered with a handful of grain. These tasks are done in the cool, damp air of the morning, the world still hushed and waiting for the sun. The world was still hushed and waiting for the sun. Now, the true work of the day begins. As the first real rays of sun break over the tree line, painting the fields in gold and long shadows, you gather your tools. A heavy iron hoe, a wooden shovel, perhaps a sickle if it's time for harvest. You join a slow stream of your neighbors, all moving in the same direction. Out from the cluster of houses, past the small church to the open fields. Past the small church to the open fields. The fields are not yours. They are strips of land allotted to you by the lord of the manor. You farm them, but you also farm the lord's own land for several days a week. This is your duty. So you move to a large, open field. The work is physical, constant, and rhythmic. It is the work of human hands against the earth. Imagine the feeling of the cool, damp soil, the sound of the hoe striking the ground, a steady thunk, 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 the slow, bending walk of weeding. There are no machines. The only sounds are the calls of birds, the low talk of fellow workers sharing a piece of news, and the sigh of the wind through the grain. Your world shrinks to the few feet of earth in front of you. Your thoughts drift with the clouds. The sigh of the wind through the grain. It is tiring, yes, but there is a deep, meditative rhythm to it. a connection to the land that is immediate and total. You are not working on the earth, you are working with it as part of a slow, ancient cycle. The sun climbs higher, and its warmth becomes a weight on your back. The rhythm of work continues, but a break is needed. When the sun is at its peak, it is time for the main meal. You might gather with the other workers at the edge of the field, sitting in the shade of a hedgerow or a large tree. The food is brought out from the village by the children or your wife. It is carried in simple clay pots or wrapped in cloth. Again, it is simple, hearty fare. More of the dark bread, now perhaps with a piece of cheese, hard and salty. A thick onion or cabbage pottage, maybe with a scrap of bacon or a bean for flavor. A wooden bowl of that thin, nutritious ale. It is eaten with fingers from shared bowls. The taste is of earth, smoke, and grain. The food is brought out from the village by the children or your wife. This is not just a meal, it is a social moment. The quiet of the morning gives way to low chatter, a shared joke, the passing of a waterskin. For a short while, the ache in the muscles is forgotten. You feel the cool grass beneath you, the dappled shade overhead. You are not a solitary worker, but part of a community, all sharing the same sun, the same soil, the same simple lunch. The afternoon sun is long and steady. The work in the fields might continue, but often the tasks change. Not every day is only plowing or harvesting. The medieval peasant's life is one of varied skills. Perhaps today you are not in the Lord's field, but on your own strip, tending to your family's vegetable garden, the small plot behind your house. Here you grow the onions, leeks, cabbage, and herbs that give flavor to your pottage. The work is smaller, more delicate. Here you grow the onions, leeks, cabbage, and herbs that give flavor to your pottage. Or maybe you have a craft. You are repairing a fence with woven hazel branches. You are thatching a small shelter. Your wife might be spinning wool with a drop spindle, the wool coming from your own few sheep. The whir of the spindle is a constant, soothing sound in the home. You are carving a new wooden spoon by the hearth in the evening. Every object in your life is made by someone you know, often by you. There is a deep satisfaction in this making, in this mending. It is a slow, deliberate kind of creation. As the sun begins its slow descent in the late afternoon, you might need to venture to the common forest. This is a vital place. The fields provide grain, but the forest provides everything else. Imagine walking into the dappled, green light beneath ancient oak and ash trees. The air is cooler here, smelling of damp moss and decaying leaves. This is not a place of fear, but of resource. You are gathering fallen deadwood for the fire, a right granted to all peasants. You might be collecting acorns to feed the pigs later in the year. Your wife or children are with you, searching for mushrooms, nuts, berries, or medicinal herbs like chamomile or yarrow. Searching for mushrooms, nuts, berries, or medicinal herbs like chamomile or yarrow. The forest is the village's pantry, pharmacy, and lumberyard. It is a place of quiet foraging, of careful observation, of knowing exactly which plant is good for a cough, which berry is sweet, which fungus is safe. The light is turning golden, then orange. The shadows are long and soft. It is time to return to the village. You walk back along the well-trodden path, your arms full of firewood, your mind tired but settled. The smoke from a dozen hearth fires begins to rise into the twilight sky, a sure sign that the village is turning inwards for the night. Animals are brought back to their pens. The simple tools are cleaned and stored. The fire is built up again, its light now the only true light in the gathering darkness. The evening pottage, a thicker, heartier version of the day's meal, simmers in the cauldron. Its smell fills the house, a promise of warmth and rest. This is a time for very small comforts. The family gathers close to the fire. The last of the day's chores are done. A final check on the animals, the bar placed across the door. The world outside shrinks to the circle of firelight. There is no electric light, no screen to watch. Entertainment is made by you. In the flickering firelight, hands are kept busy. Your wife might be spinning or mending a garment. You might be smoothing a piece of wood for a tool handle. The children play simple games with stones or knucklebones. And sometimes there are stories, not written down but remembered, old tales of the village, of clever farmers and kind spirits, a recounting of the day's small events, a folk memory of a past event, passed down like a treasured object. The voices are low, the tone is calm. The fire crackles and pops, its light dancing on the faces of your family. This is the heart of the day, not the labor in the sun, but this quiet communion in the dark. The shared warmth, the shared silence, the shared safety of the hearth. The shared safety of the hearth. Outside, the village is utterly dark and silent, save for the occasional bark of a dog or the hoot of an owl. The stars, undimmed by any other light, are brilliant and countless. The stars, undimmed by any other light, are brilliant and countless. Inside, the fire is allowed to die down to a bed of glowing embers. They pulse with a deep, red warmth, enough to keep the heart of the home alive until morning. The day that began in darkness ends in darkness. It was a day of simple, tangible things. Earth, bread, wood, wool, fire. A day of rhythm, not of rush. Of community, not of isolation. Of a deep, unspoken connection to the turning of the earth and the passing of the seasons. There was hardship, yes. Life was short, often difficult. But within that frame, there was also profound simplicity, purpose, and moments of quiet, fire-lit peace. As the embers glow and the house breathes with the soft sounds of sleep, we can gently leave this village to its rest. We can carry with us not the ache of the labor, but the feeling of the cool soil at dawn, the taste of shared bread, the sound of a spindle whirring, and the deep, comforting quiet of a world lit only by stars and hearth fire. Let that quiet settle over you now. Let your own day fade into that same peaceful darkness. The story is done. The village sleeps. And now it is time for you to rest as well. Good night and sleep well.